Welcome to the Stoic Tide. You don't truly know a woman's character when she's in love with you, when she's showing affection, or when life is smooth. The truth is, her real nature is revealed in silence in the moments when no one is watching, and when she no longer needs you. Too many men confuse sweet words for loyalty or public affection for commitment, and they pay the price in wasted years and broken trust. But character isn't built on performance. It's built on patterns. And those patterns always show when the spotlight is off. In this video, I'm going to expose the silent test that no woman can fake, the hidden moments that reveal if her love is real or if it's just convenience wearing a mask. Watch closely, because once you understand these tests, you'll stop being blinded by words and start seeing the truth that protects your future. A man can be fooled by words. He can be seduced by affection. He can be blinded by beauty. But silence tells the truth every time. Because when no one is watching, when there's nothing to gain, when there's no applause or reward, character has nowhere to hide. Most men judge a woman by how she behaves when she's with him, when she's affectionate, when she's calling him baby, when she's smiling and leaning on his shoulder. But here's the brutal truth. That's not her real self. That's her performance in a moment where she benefits from being close to you. The real test is not who she is when you're together, but who she is when you're not around. One, comfort creates illusions. When life is easy, when love is new, when attraction is strong, almost anyone can look loyal. It costs nothing to say the right words. It costs nothing to smile for photos. It costs nothing to post about you on social media. That's why so many men fall into the trap. They mistake comfort for character. But comfort is cheap. Loyalty under comfort doesn't mean loyalty under chaos. It's like trusting a soldier's bravery because he looks good in uniform, but never seeing him on the battlefield. A woman's character is not revealed by how much she loves you when things are perfect. It's revealed by how consistent she remains when conditions change. When the crowd disappears, when temptation whispers, when you're not a resource she depends on. 2. Silence is where patterns live. Silence strips away the mask. When a woman is alone, when she thinks no one is paying attention, when she's not being evaluated, that's when her defaults emerge, and those defaults are more honest than anything she could ever tell you. Does she still honor your bond when you're not in the room? Does she guard your name when you're not around to hear it? Does she keep her boundaries strong when there's no immediate consequence for breaking them? These are the questions most men never ask because they're too distracted by the performance she puts on when the lights are on. Here's the truth. Anyone can act loyal under supervision. Only a woman with integrity stays loyal when she has freedom. 3. Why most men fail this test. Men fail because they confuse suspicion with discernment. Suspicion makes you paranoid. It makes you read into every glance, every phone notification, every delayed text. That's insecurity, not wisdom. Discernment, on the other hand, is calm observation. You don't need to stalk her. You don't need to interrogate her. You simply notice her patterns. Does her story match her actions? Does her respect show up only in public? Or does it remain steady in private? The Stoics taught us this. You judge a tree not by the shade it gives in summer, but by how it stands in winter. In the same way, you don't judge a woman by how she treats you when everything is smooth. You judge her by how she behaves when no one is watching, when she has the freedom to do otherwise. 4. Story James and the illusion of loyalty. James was a man in his 40s, finally getting back into dating after a painful divorce. He met a woman who seemed perfect, charming, affectionate, always telling him how much she valued their connection. In public, she was glowing, holding his hand, laughing at his jokes, bragging about him to her friends. James thought he had found something rare, but in private. When she was out with her girlfriends, when she traveled for work, when she thought no one was watching, small cracks began to show. Her phone tucked away a little too quickly. Conversations cut short when he entered the room. Little dodges when he asked simple questions. Nothing explicit, nothing dramatic, just enough to reveal the truth. Her loyalty was conditional. She was loyal when eyes were on her. But in silence, her integrity flickered. That's when James realized her loyalty wasn't a code. It was an outfit. Something she wore when it benefited her image, but something she took off when the stage was empty. And that's the mistake too many men make. They fall in love with the outfit, but never test for the code. 5. Outfit vs. code. This is the critical distinction you need burned into your mind. Loyalty as an outfit. It's performance. It's the affectionate caption under a selfie. It's the I love you said in front of friends. It's the warmth when she's leaning on your resources, your attention, your presence. It looks good. It feels good, but it's not permanent. It's conditional, tied to who's watching and what she gains. Loyalty as a code, it's principle. It's what she does when she doesn't need you. It's how she speaks about you when you'll never find out. It's the boundaries she keeps when temptation knocks and no one would blame her for bending. A code is invisible, but it's unshakable. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need applause. It's simply who she is. A woman wearing an outfit of loyalty can fool you for months, even years. But a woman who lives by a code doesn't need to prove anything. Her patterns prove it for her. 6. The wisdom of observation. You don't need to test her with traps. You don't need to play games. Life itself will give you the tests. A trip away from you. A season where she's stressed. A time when you're not her provider. When she doesn't need you emotionally or financially. Those are the moments when her true self surfaces. If she honors you in those silences, you found something rare. If she doesn't, you've been warned. Epictetus once said, "Circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him." The same is true for women. Silence doesn't create disloyalty. It only exposes. Freedom doesn't create betrayal. It only reveals it. 7. The man's role. So where does that leave you as a man? Your role is not to cling, not to police, not to chase reassurance. Your role is to observe, to discern, and to act with clarity. If her actions match her words in silence, respect her. Value her. She's rare. If her actions don't, accept the truth early and walk away. Don't waste years negotiating with red flags. Don't fall in love with the performance while ignoring the patterns. Because a man who mistakes chemistry for character will always end up broken. But a man who has the discipline to see through silence will always protect his peace. Silence has a strange power. It strips away the masks people wear when the audience is watching. And nowhere is this more revealing than in the test of freedom. Most men judge a woman's character by her affection when they're together. How she smiles, how she holds his arm, how she posts about him online. But that's not character, that's performance. The true test isn't how she acts when she's with you. It's how she acts when she's free. 1. Freedom doesn't create betrayal. It exposes it. Think about it. When no one is watching, when there's no fear of consequence, when she could easily get away with it, what does she choose? Does she protect what's sacred even when unseen? Or does she treat freedom like permission? A loyal woman doesn't need surveillance. She doesn't need constant check-ins. Her code is internal. Whether she's out with her friends, at work trips, or scrolling late at night, her choices reflect who she is, not who she's pretending to be. But a woman without that code, freedom becomes her stage. The moment she's unsupervised, small cracks appear. She hides messages. She entertains attention. She leaves doors half open. It may not be outright betrayal, but it's disloyalty in seed form, and seeds grow. This is why freedom is such a powerful test. It doesn't invent anything new. It simply reveals what was already there. 2. The outfit versus the code. There's a sharp distinction you must burn into memory. Loyalty is an outfit. It's external. It's presentation. She puts it on when people are watching. When you're in the room, when family or friends can see, it looks good. But the moment the spotlight fades, the outfit comes off. Loyalty is a code. It's internal. It's principle. She lives it even when no one is clapping. When no one will ever know. It's not about optics. It's about integrity. The man who trusts the outfit will always be surprised later. The man who waits for the code will be secure. 3. James's story. Loyalty in the dark. James, a cat-year-old divorced, thought he'd found the perfect woman. She laughed at his jokes, held his arm proudly in public, and told friends how much she valued him. To anyone watching, she looked like the picture of loyalty. But James noticed something subtle when she was out of town. Her phone got tucked away quickly. Conversations ended abruptly when he walked into the room. Eventually, he caught a glimpse of a vague late-night message from another man. Not incriminating, but intentionally hidden. That was enough. He realized her loyalty glowed in the spotlight but flickered in the dark. Around him, she performed away from him. She cracked. James didn't explode. He didn't interrogate. He observed. And that observation saved him years of confusion. Because freedom had revealed the truth. Her loyalty wasn't a code. It was an outfit. 4. Why men miss this test. Men miss this test because they confuse chemistry with character. Chemistry feels good. Sweet texts, cozy weekends, affection in public, but chemistry is a state, not a standard. It tells you how good the time is, not how safe the future is. The Stoics warned against this trap. Epictetus wrote, "Circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him." The same is true for women. Comfortable circumstances make anyone look loyal. Freedom reveals whether loyalty is real or borrowed. 5. How to apply the test without paranoia. This doesn't mean you stalk her phone or grill her with suspicions. That's insecurity, not discernment. A wise man doesn't chase shadows. He simply observes patterns. Ask yourself, does her tone shift when she's with friends versus when she's alone with you? Do her boundaries stay stable whether you're near or far? Does her respect hold even when there's no benefit to her image? You don't need dramatic tests. You don't need trap questions. Just watch the baseline. If it's consistent in freedom, you can trust it. If it collapses when unseen, you've already got your answer. 6. The reward of a woman with a code. Here's the good news. A woman who passes the freedom test gives you something rare. Peace. You don't second-guess us. You don't analyze every text. You don't spiral into suspicion. Her consistency is the reassurance. That's what men crave. But rarely admit a woman whose loyalty doesn't depend on eyes watching or benefits flowing. A woman who is aligned, not just acting. 7. The bottom line: freedom doesn't create betrayal. It exposes it. It doesn't invent loyalty. It reveals it. So don't judge her by what she says when you're around. Judge her by what she repeats when you're not. If she treats freedom as permission, you've got a warning. If she treats freedom as responsibility, you've got gold. And once you see the difference, you'll never mistake performance for principle again. Respect isn't revealed when everything is smooth. Respect is revealed the moment you say no. Most men never realize this. They confuse compliance with harmony, and they assume that if they keep saying yes, the woman will love them more. But here's the reality. A woman's reaction to your boundaries tells you far more about her character than her reaction to your generosity. 1. Respect isn't tested in agreement. When you're saying yes, when you're giving her what she wants, when you're following along, there's no real test happening. Anyone can smile when things are easy. Anyone can act affectionate when they're getting their way. The true test comes when you calmly, firmly, unapologetically say, "No, I can't cancel my priorities just to text you all day. No, I won't let disrespect slide even if you're upset. No, I don't agree with that, and I'm not going to pretend I do." In that moment, her reaction speaks for looms. 2. Genuine respect versus conditional respect. There are two completely different outcomes here. Genuine respect. She might be annoyed. She might pout. But deep down she adjusts. And the respect remains. Why? Because she understands that your boundaries are part of your identity. She may not like the no in the moment, but she respects the man who isn't afraid to give it. Conditional respect. She explodes, manipulates, withdraws affection, or punishes you for daring to push back. That isn't respect. It's a transaction. She respects you only when you give her what she wants. And the second you don't, the mask falls off. That's not love, that's leverage. 3. Stoicism and the power of no. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A man who can't say no is a man who has lost control of himself. He's no longer leading his life. He's outsourcing leadership to her moods. Epictetus put it more bluntly. How long will you put off thinking yourself worthy of the best if you can't stand on your principles? You will forever accept less than you deserve. 4 mini scenario: the dinner test. Picture this. You're out at dinner. The conversation turns and she asks you to do something you're not comfortable with. Maybe lending money to a friend of hers or canceling a commitment that matters to you. You look her in the eye, calm and steady, and you say, "No, I can't do that." If she respects you, she might sulk for a moment. But eventually she comes around, and in her heart, she actually feels safer. Why? Because women don't admire men who fold. They admire men who stand firm. If she doesn't truly respect you, she reacts with rage, blame, or manipulation. She tries to make you feel guilty for having a backbone. That's the moment the truth comes out. 5. Why most men fail this test. Too many men are terrified of upsetting women. They think that constant agreement will buy affection. It doesn't. It does the opposite. Every time you cave, you train her to lose respect for you. Every time you compromise your principles, you weaken her attraction. Women don't admire men who are always agreeable. They admire men who can weather their emotional storms without losing their center. 6. Respect is a reflection of self-respect. Here's the bottom line. She can only respect you to the degree that you respect yourself. If you're scared to say no, if you let your standards collapse just to keep her happy, you don't just lose her respect, you lose your own. And the truth is, no woman can love a man she doesn't respect. 7. Practical lens, applying the respect test. You don't need to play games or run experiments. Just live your life with clear boundaries and pay attention. When you say, "I'm busy," "I'll call later," Does she respect it or punish you when you disagree with her? Does she argue with logic or attack with emotion? When you stand your ground, does she admire it or does she despise it? Her reaction is your answer. 8. The bottom line: respect isn't flowers, compliments, or public affection. Respect is what survives when you tell her no. If she still respects you even in disappointment, you found character. If she withdraws respect the second her desires are denied, you found manipulation. Remember this: a woman who loves you will accept your boundaries. A woman who only loves convenience will despise them. And that single difference will decide whether your relationship is built on respect or built on sand. Loyalty isn't tested when she needs you. Loyalty is tested when she doesn't. Most men confuse gratitude with devotion. They think she appreciates me. She leans on me. She needs me. This must be loyalty. But here's the truth. Her real character shows when the need disappears. When she doesn't have to depend on you anymore financially, emotionally, socially. That's when you see her soul without filters. 1. The illusion of conditional loyalty. When she's vulnerable, when she's struggling. When you're her rock, of course, she's warm, appreciative, affectionate too. You're filling a role in her life. But ask yourself, is she loyal to you or is she loyal to the benefits? The moment she's back on her feet. When she doesn't need you, but in having few wants. Apply that to relationships. A woman's loyalty isn't proven by how much she gets from you, but by how little her treatment of you changes when she no longer needs anything. 5 mini scenario: the job promotion test. Imagine you've been dating a woman who leaned on you heavily when life was tough. Then she lands a big promotion. Suddenly she's financially stable, socially admired, emotionally confident. Does she still look at you with respect? Does she still make space for you in her world, or do you feel her pulling away, dismissing your value now that she doesn't need your stability? That's the moment of truth. 6. Why this test breaks so many men. Men get trapped in the illusion of permanence. They think she's so warm to me now. She'll always be this way. But warmth that depends on need is temporary. When you tie your worth to being useful, you set yourself up to be discarded once you're no longer required. That's why this test is brutal, but it's merciful. It frees you from building your life on borrowed loyalty. 7. What real loyalty looks like. She respects you when you can give and when you can't. She values you in need and in abundance. She honors the bond not because of what it gives her, but because of what it means to her. That's the woman worth building with. 8. The bottom line. The way she treats you when she no longer needs you is the sharpest mirror of her soul. If her respect evaporates once the benefits fade, it was never love. It was transaction. But if her respect remains steady even when she stands on her own, that's loyalty. And in today's world, loyalty is gold. So never confuse conditional affection with unconditional loyalty. One fades the second circumstances change. The other stands firm because it's built on values, not needs. Pressure doesn't create character. It reveals it. Anyone can look loyal, affectionate, and perfect when life is calm. But when the storm hits, when stress, conflict, or crisis shows up, that's when masks fall away. Chaos doesn't invent who she is. It exposes who she's been all along. 1. Why chaos is the ultimate X-ray: calm waters hide everything. But when life tilts, when bills stack up, when health issues appear, when misunderstandings spark, that's when her raw nature comes forward. Does she lash out, turn cruel, or withdraw love as a weapon? Or does she stay steady, composed, and respectful even in fire? These moments tell you more than years of sweet words. Because in chaos, the performance stops. Instinct takes over. 2. The illusion of good times. Too many men judge a woman by how she treats them on vacations, in candlelit dinners, or when money's flowing. That's not character. That's circumstance. Ask yourself instead, how does she act when she's tired? When she's frustrated? When she doesn't get her way? If respect collapses under inconvenience, it was never real. 3. Story. Daniel's test by fire. Daniel had been dating a woman who seemed like a dream: supportive, kind, always saying the right things. Then he lost his job. At first she said, "Don't worry, we'll get through this." But within weeks her tone shifted. Small arguments turned into big fights. She mocked his situation. She withheld affection. What did the chaos do? It revealed what was already there. Her commitment wasn't to him. It was to the lifestyle he provided. Daniel didn't lose her during the storm. He discovered her during the storm. 4. Stoic reflection. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you are distressed by an external thing, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment of it." Apply that here. A woman who truly values you doesn't let external stress turn into internal disrespect. She may feel pressure, but her principles remain. 5-mini scenario, the argument test. Picture this. You tell her no. No to an expense. No to an outing. No to something unreasonable. How does she respond if she throws insults, manipulates, or threatens withdrawal? That's chaos exposing entitlement if she disagrees but remains respectful. You've just glimpsed a woman with discipline and character. 6. Why most men miss this test. Men ignore red flags and chaos because they confuse intensity with passion. They think she only screamed because she cares. She only insulted me because she was upset. No. Pressure doesn't create new behavior. It unmasks old patterns. If she disrespects you when stressed, she will disrespect you when it matters most. 7. What passing the chaos test looks like. She may get upset, but she doesn't dishonor you. She may disagree, but she doesn't destroy trust. She may feel pressure, but she doesn't let it turn into poison. That's rare, and that's the kind of woman who builds with you, not against you. 8. The bottom line, pressure doesn't change people. It reveals them. When chaos comes, and it always does, watch carefully. How she treats you in the storm is how she'll treat you when life tests your bond for real. If she collapses into blame, manipulation, or cruelty, don't excuse it as just stress. That's her truth. If she steadies herself, maintains respect, and chooses the bond even in hardship, that's her character. And brother, in a world where performances are everywhere, chaos is your clearest lens. Men, remember this. Masks can charm you, words can seduce you, and even loyalty can be performed. But true character that's revealed in silence, in freedom, and in chaos. A woman's real self shows up when no one is watching. And when she no longer needs you, if she respects you, then you found something rare. If she doesn't, you found the truth. And the truth is always better than illusion, because it protects your time, your heart, and your peace. So stop getting blinded by sweet words and weekend highs. Start observing patterns in silence. Let her actions, not her promises, show you who she really is. Because clarity is not just power. Clarity is freedom. If this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe, drop a comment below, and share this with a brother who needs to hear it. Too many men are bleeding from wounds they could have avoided with wisdom. Don't let that be your story. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and above all, protect your peace. Because in the end, peace is the only prize worth fighting for.